There were 24 drivers who failed to qualify for this, and you look at that list of names, there's not a short track promoter in America that would not like to have this field and number of drivers in his field on a Saturday night. You see Ted Musgrave there, Lance Hooper, West Coast great. Even Mike Stefanik, who was a two-time champion in the modified and the Busch North Series, didn't make it.
One lap to go.
Looking at the manufacturer's breakdown, you notice there are 36 Chevrolets in the field today, 4 Pontiacs, 3 Fords. The reason there's not many Fords in there with the restrictor plate races, they seem to have a little too much drag and downforce on the car to really be competitive. Chevrolet seems to be the favorite as far as what people want to start the race with.
There are 43 cars in the field today. They'll run 300 miles. That's 120 laps on this track, and they run for their biggest purse ever, almost $1.3 million. They can go from 54 to 60 laps on a tank of fuel. The race record was set back in 1978 by Darrell Waltrip at over 162 miles an hour.
Looking at this beautiful racetrack here, the Daytona Speedway, you notice it's 2.5 miles tri-oval. The banking in the corners is 31 degrees. Right below us in the tri-oval here, 18 degrees. 6 degrees of banking and the back straightaway.
We're going to ride with Mike McLaughlin in the Team 34 Racing Chevrolet, the Gould's Pumps Cam. He'll start in 3rd position. Also, Joe Nemechek, the defending winner of this event, his Bell South mobility camera in his Chevrolet. Mark Martin, the all-time winner in this series, starts way back in 27. That's the Winn-Dixie onboard camera. Jimmy Kitchens from Alabama, the Air Jamaica Vacations cam in his all-car Chevrolet. Truck Series champ Ron Hornaday, the Napa Auto Parts camera in that Dale Earnhardt-owned Chevrolet. Kerry Earnhardt in the Channel Lock Chevrolet has one of our CBS race cams today. And Elton Sawyer with the Lysol onboard camera in the Aiken Sutton Chevy. Let's meet the 3rd member of our CBS pit crew today, Bill Stevens.
Well, Mike, if there's one word that would describe the overwhelming mood in the garages this morning, it would have to be apprehension. We talked about the drivers in the field without a lot of experience. We talked about the weather changes that change the personality of the racetrack. And we know that there are guys in the back of the field in backup cars with 0 racing miles on them. Put them all together, this could be the most exciting Napa 300 we've ever seen, but maybe for the wrong reasons.
King Richard Petty, 7-time Daytona 500 winner, looking on as his grandson makes his Daytona Busch Series debut. Another granddad up here in the booth, Ned Jarrett, watching his grandson make his Daytona Busch debut. Last year, this race did not get one complete lap before a big crash. Here we go. We're under green in the Napa 300.
To get up to full speed, and you see somebody's in trouble there. That's Dave Blaney.
Bit of fluid coming from the back of his Bill Davis-owned Pontiac, and he's going to come pit side. Tough break for the former World of Outlaws sprint car champ.
He was one of the fastest cars all week during practice, had a good qualifying effort, but unfortunately he's slowing down now as they come around for the first lap.
Here's where that momentum comes into play. Some cars come up to speed easier than others, and they get a bit 3 wide coming down here for lap 1.
A lot of tight racing as they head into turn 1. Still 2 abreast as we go in there. We don't see any 3 wide there, and that's probably good.
Yeah, it's a little early in the race. They will be 3 wide before we go another 4 or 5 laps. Everybody right now being very cautious. They did have problems in practice here yesterday. That usually lasts about 10 laps into the race.
Well, we see the 3rd and 4th place car running side by side. That's allowing the first 2 cars to pull away.
Here we have it, 3 wide down the back straightaway.
One car stuck in the middle, losing the draft, squeezing out of the middle of that sandwich. Winner of this race 2 years ago and twice series champion, and he has lined up with him Ken Schrader, the pole sitter, number 15. Now that pack has gone single file. Mike McLaughlin and the rest of the field beginning to catch them up here.
Todd Bodine has already knocked off about 7 spots. He and Trickle and Musgrave and Glenn Allen and Chuck Bound, they have not turned a lap in those cars which they're driving after that crash yesterday in that final moment of happy hour. Mike?
They're going to have to pick their way to the front, Ken, and as you look at that rush hour traffic, you can see it's not going to be easy.
But there is a big draft being opened up in front of them, but there's not much room to do a lot of passing.
You're riding with Ron Hornaday, and just in front of him, of course, Mark Martin. You can see the cars moving around. They head off turn 4. They'll bounce right there. You can see these cars are not very stable as they go into the dogleg here. You can see the back of the car starting to jump around just a little bit.
That's Kevin LePage on the left of your screen. If you look at our Circuit City telemetry from Ron Hornaday's car, hitting 7,000 RPM.
Yeah, he's only losing about 200 to 300 RPM. Now 400 in the corners. You can see he's running about 180 miles an hour in that part of the racetrack.
Man, those cars really dance out there. They look pretty stable from up here in the tower, but you get on board, and they're anything but.
They do bounce around quite a bit, and the air helps them to do that. Of course, you know, the pavement is almost impossible to pave a 31-degree banking smooth, but the air is what makes them bounce around more than anything else, just like this situation.
That multicolored, rainbow-colored car is Adam Petty, number 45, one of the rookies, 10 of them in this race. Now, as you look at our CBS running order in the upper left of your screen, you see in red Andy Santerre or Adam Petty. That means he has lost one or more positions since the last time by. A driver displayed in green has gained one or more positions.
Jason Keller has a problem, car number 57.
If I was to speculate, I would say right now he is having an oil-related problem because it's a gray smoke as you see coming out of the back of the car there.
And, Buddy, that's right in the middle of the field, and those drivers behind him are a little bit anxious as they see that smoke come up. Don't know where it's coming from, if it's fluid associated with it or not, but he's still running pretty good.
I will tell you, it's off the right-hand corner of the car, and the exhaust, you have one out the right side, one out the left. It looks like it might be coming from the center part of the car. I can't really tell what it is.
They are not black flagging Keller. They're allowing him to continue until they assess the problem. But now the pack is trying to work their way past him on the high side.
And you can see it's worse in the corner. I believe that's a tire rub.
Yep.
I can tell you one thing. He won't be out there very long before NASCAR comes in and makes him adjust to whatever the problem is, because that's pretty serious there. And you can imagine at 190 miles an hour coming up behind that car and it's smoking like that.
Keller has probably bumped side to side with another car and pushed a fender in against the tire, so that when it loads the suspension in the corner, that's when you see more of that smoke. Either it'll wear away and go away, or the tire might.
Yeah, that's the big concern. The tire might go, and certainly if you have the air to go out of a tire on this racetrack at these speeds, that's not a good situation.
He's going to pit, and that's a wise move. Jeff Purvis has come from 40th to 20th in 5 laps. And it's the first time that Randy LaJoie has led since he won at Myrtle Beach last July. So that's LaJoie driving for James Finch. He is part of a 2-car team with Jeff Purvis for Finch out of Phoenix City, Alabama, leaving Base Motorsports, coming here to Daytona.
Yeah, and you see the car leading the race here is they don't even have a sponsor on that car, but I tell you what, Randy LaJoie will be a threat all year long for the championship.
Riding on board with Mike McLaughlin at Gould's Pumps Cam. And look on the right corner of your screen. There is a message there, and it's intended for Sarah Murphy in Elmira, New York. Stephen, whose dad is one of the car owners of this machine, wants to know if you'll marry him. 190-mile-an-hour proposal.
Okay, that ought to get the message across.
You see Joe Nemechek in the 87 there, looking on the high side, starting to move around on the racetrack, looking for a better line where he can make a move towards the front. Great run right now.
Tomorrow is Valentine's Day after all. Let's go to the garage and Ralph Shaheen.
And a frustrated Dave Blaney is unstrapping himself out of his race car. Dave, what happened to the engine?
I don't know. Just come apart, I guess. This thing was... it was awesome all week, the engine in this thing. I got to give those guys credit back to Motor Shop. They did a great job and had us right in the front and contending for this thing. Who knows?
Well, Mike, the former World of Outlaw Sprint Car champ, really did have a great week. He started the race off 5th today. He's already parked, not even breaking into a sweat.
Let me correct one thing on the Randy LaJoie car. He's driving for James Finch. Last year, Jeff Purvis drove for James Finch. He took the sponsor and went over to the Gary Bechtel team for 1999. They are not teammates. Of the top 25 starters in this race, 18 of those cars either have a different driver, sponsor, crew chief, alignment, or paint job. So it is a little confusing. My error. Here at Daytona, 8 laps complete. Randy LaJoie leading pole sitter Kenny Schrader.